Hello travelers, Hidden Lotus Tarot, and today, this is Friday, and we're going to be doing an open reading. We're going to be using the Casanova deck today, and we will be clarifying with the La Vida Sibilas. The individual monthlies will be completed, all of them, and uploaded today. I have 6 more left to go. I have this business opportunity that came through, and it's kind of thrown me out for a loop in addition to all of the other things that have been going on. So again, my apologies for having these up so late. But that means once I get this cleared off my plate by the weekend, I will go ahead and start getting ready to upload the June monthlies so that those will be on time. Those of you who are waiting on your charts and you have booked readings, you will be hearing from me today so that we can set up the time for readings, and also those waiting on your charts, you will be getting your second free chart. So I have already done a bit of pre-shuffling here, and I've had 2 interesting cards come out, and it's funny because they're both pages, and in the Casanova deck, pages are the number 11, so we have double 11s. Here we have the Page of Coins, and then we have the Page of Cups. They are known as knaves in this particular deck. So let's go ahead and, wow, shuffle the cards and lay the spread and see exactly what Casanova has to say. I have not gone to Casanova in quite some time. Please keep in mind that this is a general reading and the messages will not resonate with everyone. I do hope that you might be able to get something out of it. Everybody take a little bit of something. So please take what you can and disregard what you cannot. In order for you to gain any specific clarity on your situation does require a personal reading. If you would think you'd like to book a reading with me, you can go up, click on the little information tab up here in the right-hand corner. That will take you directly over to the website. For phone readings, when you get there, there's a tab that says Readings by Phone. I want you to click on that or hover your mouse over that, and there will be a secondary menu that pops out. At the very top of that secondary menu is another tab that says Important Information on Booking. Please make sure that you read that before you book, before you submit your booking form and submit your payment, because that's going to tell you everything you need to know about booking a phone reading with me. Those of you who are interested in a private video reading, there's a separate tab, and it explains everything. Now, over the past week, I've had several people try to come back and access their videos. I do not load my videos up to YouTube because it takes sometimes 45 minutes to upload. Loading it up to Google Drive, I'm looking at max 12 minutes. But after 7 days, I delete that video and that link. That's for your privacy and as well as my security to my drive. So if you book a video reading, once I send you the link and tell you that it's ready, you are responsible for downloading and saving that video to whatever device you want it, because after 7 days, it's a done deal. I delete the link, I delete the video, and I no longer have access to it. So please keep that in mind. It's just, that's for security purposes. For those of you who might be interested in the membership option, there are 3 memberships to the website. With that, you do get access to the individual monthly videos, but you also get 2 free birth charts. There's predictive astrology. There are metaphysical articles. I've got some stuff coming. I just got a lot of, life kind of got in the way right about now. It's kind of weird. So, you don't want to do a year membership or 6-month membership. You can do 30 days. Doesn't cost you anything but $7. You don't want to stick around after 30 days. You don't have to re-up. So anyway, that's that. I have Akashic Records readings. There's etheric cord cutting sessions. There's a lot of stuff on the website. So go over and take a look and see what may or may not work for you. All right, let's put the rest of the cards down. And then we're going to get into the reading. And then as soon as I close this reading down, I will be getting back on those individual monthlies. So please bear with me. They will be done today. That's a promise. I had to literally clear and tell people, don't even bother calling me. Don't bother me. So my friend came and picked my daughter up to drop her off to school this morning. All right, so here we go. We have the Six of Coins, and we have a Knight of Swords, and a Four of Coins. We have a Nine of Swords, an Ace of Coins. Wow, this is kind of all over the place. And then we have the Star card. Well, that's always good. And underneath the deck, well, look at this, people. We have a Two of Cups. Can you see that? Very lovely. And by the way, I just completed the Scorpio monthly video and posted it up. And I'm going to tell you something, Scorpios. I have not seen a reading like that for you in a very, very long time. It was a really lovely, lovely reading. For those of you who are already on the site, who have your membership and you have access, you are Scorpio Sun Moon Rising, or you're dealing with the Scorpio Sun Moon Rising person, go ahead, and I just uploaded it. Go ahead and take a look at that, because it's really a very, very, it was a lovely reading. Okay, so right in the center here, let's see, I have two major arcana. And so for those of you who don't know a whole lot, no matter what deck you're dealing with, although every deck has its own language, okay, it speaks differently. Every deck has different meanings. What does not change is that the major arcana cards, and there are 22 of them, speak to the big picture theme. It is the life lessons that we're learning, or the life challenges that we're going through. It's spiritual lessons and spiritual challenges that we go through. So we have two of those here. And typically these really kind of outweigh, they hold more sway over what are known as the pip cards. Now here in this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pip cards. So that we have two major arcana, and they both come up on the vertical future row. This kind of tells me that, you know, something, I think, I'm not quite sure exactly what the cards are telling me, but I don't think it's, I think it's going to be something pleasant. I just feel that it's going to take a while longer, whatever this is. Now, I have 1, 2, 3 court cards. I have 2 pages and a knight. And right in the center is this Knight of Swords. Now, in this deck, the Knight of Swords, typically, traditionally, Knights of Swords bring news and messages. Usually he's rushing in, that you see, you know, he's coming in from right to left. He's rushing in. He's coming in with some, you know, news, or he's coming in to break up something. And I usually see that as an event. For me, the way I interpret the cards and the way they speak to me, the Knights always represent some kind of event. Some kind of movement, and that movement is either going to be, yeah, through an event, or some kind of news that will cause an event to occur. So at the top, I have the Page of Coins, the Page of Cups, and then the Hermit card. And I find that to be quite interesting. The meaning of the Page of Coins in this deck says it's the greedy purchaser. He looks with his eyes and tries to see what he can buy. And then here I have this Page of Cups, who speaks to a sincere offer coming in. And what I'm picking up is that I think somebody got into a situation, so to speak, where they might have gotten a bit more than they bargained for, okay? And I don't mean that in a negative way. I think maybe the person went looking for something and ended up discovering something perhaps that they really weren't prepared for. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at the difference between these two pages, and I don't know if you can see that because my camera's so crappy, he has a mask on. Can you see that? And he is unmasked. Okay. And I think that maybe this has come about through some kind of message. Sometimes the Knight of Swords can indicate some type of electronic communication. It can indicate, it does speak to ideas, perceptions, beliefs, concepts, and of course, you know, thoughts. And this Knight of Swords here speaks to dueling with the ego. Okay, he's waiting for like some kind of fight. Okay, he's prepared to defend that. And sitting in the center, it's quite an odd kind of an energy here. We have this Hermit here. Now, the Hermit typically implies that this is a moment of reflection, or at least it should be. And maybe what I think is somebody went looking for something. They completely came upon something that was unexpected. I think maybe they thought, oh, well, I'll just do this because I can, or, you know, I'm going to try this because I can afford it. And then suddenly it becomes something totally different. So this creates this moment of pause here. I've seen this card sometimes indicate where it has been someone who's been alone for a long, long time. Okay, but right now, this is also an invitation. This is what this card means in this deck. It's an invitation, but it's a moment of really trying to get a handle or distill down whatever these two pages are talking about, because there are two completely different energies. I think this is someone who, to me, what the Page of Coins is representing is somebody who, I don't want to say playing around, but they weren't serious about whatever it is they were doing, and then suddenly it turned into something I don't think they expected. Now, I also feel that this completely took that person by surprise. Okay, these two cards are welcoming cards. But because it is the energy of the Hermit, which means that there is some isolation and some separation, a moment of taking a step back. So I think that all of a sudden this individual was rocked back on their heels by what may have been something that was supposed to be lighthearted and play. But I think it ended up becoming something that they don't quite know what to do with. And the reason why I say that is the Six of Coins. In this deck, the Six of Coins, let me let you look at that card. The Six of Coins is coveting that which is not yours. And as you can see, this is somebody who is kind of peeking in on this woman who, I don't know if she's getting dressed, if she's undressing herself. And it's a Six of Coins. And coins represent something on a physical plane. It also represents the doing of something. It also represents some kind of, I don't know, gain or abundance or a possibility. It's a six, and sixes typically mean that there is a kind of a harmony in the situation. So even though this person has been rocked back on their heels, they're either in some way, shape, or form keeping a finger in the pie or keeping an eye out open. They may be watching. With this Page of Swords, I kind of get maybe that the person might be maybe dropping in on your profile, or if you have an online profile, or you know, stalking your Facebook page or your Instagram page or your Twitter feed. I don't know, something like that. And it's not done in a creepy kind of a way. It's done in a way, I think, that they're trying to gauge a situation. They're trying to figure out what it is that they should do. Here is the Four of Coins. And this is about somebody who is, in effect, so involved or wrapped up in whatever it is that they're doing that they're completely ignoring everything else. But yet, we see that the person is waiting. They're waiting for something. They're waiting for something to occur. They're waiting for some news to come in. They are ready to defend that. This is doing battle with the ego. That is the main message of that card. And I think that's why these two cards have come out together. In one respect, the person is still kind of, it's like maybe they're waiting for you to catch them doing that, okay? Peeking in on you. But they're not going to let it touch them. No, that's not what I was doing, okay? And it's kind of a funny energy. But we can see here with this Nine of Swords. Now, the Nine of Swords is an interesting card in this deck because it doesn't speak to the nightmares that, or the anxiety that we see in the Rider-Waite deck. This speaks to, where is it? Because I want to get this right. Where's my thing? The story of this card is that this, that's Casanova, and the female that he's with was actually like a chambermaid. She was somebody who was completely different from the women that he was used to associating with within his circles. But yet, in times of need, she was a really, really good friend to him. Okay? Let me give you all of the meanings of this particular card here. Hold on. It says consolation in times of trouble, rebirth, and recognition. Francesca Buscini was very close to Casanova while he was going through a bad patch, and despite her lack of education, demonstrated sincere, tender affection for him in her beautiful letters. We do see that there's swords here, and again, that speaks to some kind of communication. Now, what is interesting is that these two cards are nines, and 2 9s speak to extreme isolation. This could play itself out in terms of loneliness. I don't know. The hermit is somebody who, in a sense, kind of chooses to isolate himself, okay, because he's got to get some stuff straight. But this card, to me, kind of indicates that this may be somebody who, I don't necessarily want to say is trying to, well, yeah, it's somebody who's trying to satiate their loneliness, okay? And in one respect, yes, that it's working for them in the sense that, okay, well, maybe I just need somebody to kiss or to hug. Maybe I just need somebody to talk to or listen to me. But there's still a loneliness that's there. There's still this isolation that's there. That's why I think the swords are behind him. It's like I'm trying to put behind me something I don't want to think about. It's almost like the person is trying to ignore what's going on for them. Now, here is the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles, all aces are opportunities. So this is about a new opportunity coming in. One perhaps that will come on the physical plane. It could be a new opportunity in terms of finances. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4 coins here. I do, it could be a message for you in the physical world. So you might need to get out and walk around or something like that. But it just basically means that there's an opportunity for you to do something different. You see that wide expanse of water there? That's like an unexplored vista. It's like you can put your boat, your canoe, you can dip your toe in that water and see what kind of washes over or washes up for you or comes up for you. There's nothing to impede this particular journey. You simply have to decide whether or not you want to undertake it or not. And then here's the Star card, which is a lovely card in this deck. Let me read you the interpretation of the Star card here. It speaks to beauty, hope, farsightedness, emotion, grace, gentleness, prediction, motivation, the ideal, IDEAL, and liberty. Okay? So there's freedom being, I think, on offer here. I think there is an opportunity for someone to come out of this particular loneliness, to really get to the essence of what's going on. I don't think the individual is ready yet for whatever reason. There's that 4 of Pentacles. Let me give you this 4 of Pentacles. God, I can't see anything. The 4 of Pentacles speaks to the mystery, avarice, thrift, isolated in one's own greed. Okay? He only has eyes for his own purse instead of what is beside him. And it's almost like the person is purposely pushing aside something that they don't want to deal with. It's quite an odd energy. And then right down the center, in the center, I have this swords, this Knight of Swords here. And he speaks to the dueler. He's waiting for the enemy. He's wanting to do battle. The mind is blurred by the ego. And I think that the person is kind of itching for a fight in some respect, or at least expecting that if they do this thing, it's going to be, they expect that it won't be easy. And maybe this is why the coins have come out, that it's going on the 5th. This just won't be easy. But it is this 9 of Swords that kind of really stands out to me. It just, it's not a Cups card, so it's not as though it's somebody who is perhaps drinking or doing drugs or you know, it's again, I keep getting the sense that it is a distraction. Because this implies that, okay, well, I'm alone and I need to think about what it is I want to do. I want to really get to the essence of this. But then if that's the case, what are we doing battle with? And I think it's an individual who's doing battle with themselves mentally. Maybe being conflicted about what it is that they want to do or what they should do. I think they have some idea of what they want to do. This Knight of Cups. Let me read you the meaning. It's quite an odd reading in the sense that it kind of just doesn't make any sense. I see it. It says a sincere lover, the entirety, destiny, mystery, and the mental ability. And it says, note, he does not wear a mask. So in one respect, I also kind of feel that this individual has perhaps maybe accidentally either been unmasked or has accidentally unmasked himself. The truth of what's happening for him is starting to bleed through whatever it is he's trying to pretend like it's not there. I'm just going to maintain that position that it was all fun. But the Star card says that there's something changing about this. But I don't think it's going to be, at least say the person's not going to make it easy, which is kind of funny because why would you intentionally make something hard for yourself? Sometimes things just are what they are, and there is really no need to. Sometimes we want to overanalyze things. We want to look at it from all angles. We want to try to see what the pitfalls can be. But the truth of the matter is we're not always supposed to know those things, and we're not supposed to, when we do those type of things, we end up really defeating ourselves and creating these self-inflicted injuries. And this card is just, it's bugging the crap out of me. Let me give you the Hermit. The Hermit speaks to, it's an inner search, isolation, spirituality, renunciation, silence, chastity, detachment from material things, a refuge of the heart, a consolation, and a welcome. So it's like this person is going through this real emotional and spiritual upheaval, and they don't know what to do about it. And they're literally battling them. This is, to me, speaks to, I don't want to keep peeking in on that person, and I don't want to covet what's not mine. But it's almost like the card says, I can't help myself. I want to know what's happening. And I'm not reading this as a stalker kind of card. Had this been in the Rider-Waite deck, I would have said maybe it's somebody stalking you. You know what I mean? This just really speaks to, like the person says, I really don't, I got more than I bargained for. I wasn't, I went looking for something, but now I'm trying to defend the fact that what I found. But on the backside of that, it's almost like saying if you just kind of admit to it or surrender to whatever this thing is, that there really is something quite beautiful in it. Maybe just in the recognition of, maybe it's somebody who's saying, I really don't need anybody in my life and I wasn't ready for anything. I went out and just kind of played around in dating and boom, I met somebody completely. I wasn't expecting that. I've been totally unmasked. I can't, oh my God, things are coming up that I didn't realize were coming up. You know, and so if that is the case with this card, with this situation, I would say that if you just kind of perhaps still yourself and sit with those feelings, those emotions, there really is something quite beautiful and peaceful in them. And sometimes it's very, very difficult for us to admit to ourselves our real feelings. Whether or not it ends in a Two of Cups. I'm just going to ignore all of this. I'm not even going to pay any attention to it, you know. But yet the person is trying to, maybe they're reading old letters or old emails. They're obviously having thoughts. Maybe they're trying to forget about something by indulging with someone else. But these two nines say that that really isn't satisfactory. Okay, and that in order for you to move through to this Two of Cups, perhaps something that you really, really do desire, even though you don't want to admit it and you're fighting it, okay, you're going to have to allow yourself to, not vulnerability, to just accept that's how you feel. And sometimes that can be very frightening. Let me look. This Nine of Swords is, and those are the, besides the two 11s, those are the only, and the two 9s, those are the only repeater cards. And 11s are master numbers. And if I'm going to take the, about the master number, this is really something that, in a sense, was kind of fated. It's 1111. Huh? So, and this could perhaps be what the problem is it feels fated. And sometimes when things feel fated, that becomes very, very frightening, because it's like all of a sudden you got no control over it. So you pull back, you act stupid, you do things, you ignore it to pretend like, you know, I've got control over this. You know, fate's not going to come in and tell me what I should be doing. It's not going to steer me in the direction, but it's fated. You know, there's nothing really that you can do about it. So, it's quite interesting. And that Two of Cups there. Now, I'm going to pull out the Lover's card because I want to show you something quite interesting here. First, I want to look at this Nine of Swords here. Funny, these cards are funny sometimes. Excuse me. La Vecchia Signora. The Allegrezza al Cuore. Happiness of the heart. And the letter. Okay, well, La Vecchia Signora speaks to an old acquaintance. It could be an older person. That's why she's represented like the old woman. This could be an older friend. It could be a relative. It could even be your mom. But this person speaks to someone who is giving you some advice on something. And because they are older, perhaps wiser, or maybe just have a more experienced take on whatever this Nine of Swords is all about, they are, in a sense, perhaps have already informed you or given their advice that, you know what, if it makes you happy, reach out. Okay? At least send the news. Okay? Or this could be about you know, it still kind of reads like something faded, like somebody has said to you, this is what is going to happen. And it's somebody who's really trying to resist that. They're doing everything else. You know, they're pulling weeds, they're sweeping cobwebs out of they're doing everything else but focusing on what is there's they know that it's there. It's in the back of their mind. I think that's why those 9 swords are there. And it almost reads like somebody has said to this person, you know what, you there's happiness there, and if that makes you happy, you need to reach out. Now, the letter just simply means communications. This could be a document coming, it could be snail mail, it could be email, it could be a phone call. Typically, in the Sabila deck, the La Vida Sabila, the letter is documentation, some kind of documentation. So, and that could even extend to like real estate contracts, but that's not what this is. We're not looking at, I don't see anybody moving house. I don't see anybody traveling. This is mostly all a mental and a spiritual thing. Even though there's some elements, I just think the coins are simply about someone who's trying to, who's very conflicted. They feel one way, you know, and the question becomes then, you know, coveting that which is not yours. Well, is it because that which is not yours belongs to someone else? Or is it because you haven't stepped forward yet to claim it? And I'm getting that it's because you haven't stepped forward to claim it yet. You've met it, you've seen it, you've smelled it, you've tasted it, you've held it in your hands. You know that you're supposed to have it, but for some reason you don't. Now, I want to look at this. I'm going to put 2 cards on the 2 pages at the top. Okay. Well, makes sense. Remember this card, this was, what was the word? I see it, but I can't call it. Detachment from material things. Renunciation. That's what that is. Someone is trying to detach themselves. And it's almost like the person is a material thing. Okay? It's a coins card, so that's really a contradiction. What I'm doing in terms of handling my money or sticking to my business or just being focused on my finances, that is materialistic. But there's something right next to you that might be worth more than money, but yet the person feels that that is materialistic. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe the person thinks that this individual only wants to be with them because of what they have. So I'm going to detach myself from it. I'm going to renounce. I'm not going to have anything to do with it. And if I must partake, it's going to be just, oh well, when I feel like it. When I feel bad. Isn't that interesting? Okay, let's look at these 2 pages here at the top. Remember I said it's like they bit off more than they can chew? And they have become completely unmasked, and now they don't know what to do about it? Disgrazia. I bit off more than I can chew. Dispiacere. I don't know what to do about it. Why? Because if I tell the truth of the situation, if I really take a look at it, it's really something I've wanted all along. It's something I've been dreaming about. It's something that I never thought was going to be possible. All of the crap and the shit that I've been through before that I thought was, finally, see, his face is unmasked. Can you see that? His face is unmasked. So the person is really dealing with something deep within that's being brought up by whatever this situation is. This is quite interesting. I want to pull cards on this star card here. And so now, because see, this speaks to success after a long time. Okay? It's not that, you know, it's like the person knows that everything that came before, you know, that caused me nothing but trouble and grief and anxiety. And all along, they've had this idea of what it was that they wanted in order to feel like this. And I think they met it, they've come into contact with it, or it has revealed itself in some way, but now they don't know what to do. You know that be careful what you wish for? That's what the reading is telling me. Somebody made a wish and they got it completely unexpectedly. They weren't looking for it. And they are so caught off guard. They are so discombobulated by it. They don't know what to do. Be careful what you wish for. I don't sense that this is anything negative or bad. I don't think it's somebody who is that it's. And the reason why I say that is because of the 2 9s. They speak to me a lot, the 2 9s. The 2 9s say that this is a situation, there's a complete chasm. There is, I don't think, any communication. I don't think there's any sign of life from either. This is, it's like it's been contained and walled off. Okay? Let's take a look at this star card here. Then I'm going to close this out with just a heart oracle tarot, okay? But before I do, I want to show you something about this 2 of Cups card. La donna del servizio, the action card. She's like a verb. She's always positive. Now this card speaks to errands, housework, helping, like a domestic. She's a domestic, but in terms of how the card is read, she's an action card. So something has occurred that has helped. It's very, very positive. It's a very light, kind of an airy energy, okay? Surrounding a relationship of trust, a l'amica, a friend, a close confidant, which is intimated in one sense in this card, okay? And even with this La Vecchia Signora. But look. There is the La Namica. Now, I want you to pay close attention to that. There's the domestic, the person you can trust, and then the person who acts in secret. But they all fall on the star card. Is that not the strangest thing you have ever seen? It is the strangest thing I have ever seen. And I think the reason why the person is doing battle, okay, the ego, and they're waiting to fight, is that they don't know if the person is there to help or to harm them. That's really what this card says. They can't get a handle on it. This could even be somebody who does not believe that the person really cares for them. Okay? There's something being called into question here. Now let me read you the meaning of this 2 of Cups, because that's what it ends with. That's very strange. It's this passion, the couple, the ideal, I-D-Y-L-L, celebration, a toast. See, so there's something inherently real about this situation. There is an emotional recognition. There is an emotional harmony and emotional blending. Like the person knows that this is what they're supposed to be doing. This is who they're supposed to be with. But they can't make that determination for some reason. I think it's basically more that they're resistant to that idea. Okay. Now, what I wanted to show you about this card. Let me find the Lover's card for you, and hopefully, I love this deck, but they do not photograph well on camera. They just don't. The colors are so muted. Now, these are two different locations, okay? But there's some similarities here between these two cards. Now, in the Lovers, in the Two of Cups, we see the couple here. The woman has her back to us. The man has her in a passionate embrace. She's leaning up against the thing. I don't know if he's kissing her breast, he's kissing her neck, but they're just all into each other, okay? And they're framed in this this archway. And you can sometimes look at archways like a gateway or a portal, okay? There it is. All right? But there is the Lover's card. Now, it's almost the same exact scene, except there are two different locations. And what strikes me about the similarities and the differences, this card speaks to the appearance of something that really isn't what it is. Okay? If we were passing by on this little waterway here on a boat, it would look like an innocent hug. Yeah? Okay? But because we have this backside view, we see exactly what's going on. All right? So to me, the difference between this card and this card is that this is somebody who wants something, but it's the appearance of something else. I don't even know if that makes any sense. To me, this is about the guy wanting everything to look above board, but really what he wants to do is this. Okay? See, he has his back to us in that if we're out on the water. Whereas here, he's fully faced in the front and the woman has her back to us. And she is in a position where you can see she's in a surrender position. Her arms are down. She is, I don't know if you can see that. Her arms are down and she has surrendered to it. This is, I think, about somebody who still hasn't made up their minds about what they really want. So this could be somebody who, it's kind of like that push and pull energy. Well, let's be friends. But then, there's really that undercurrent of, I want to rip your clothes off and jump your bones. It's quite interesting. And then we have these cutouts, again, like these archways. So maybe on the surface or to the outside world, everything looks kind of chaste and proper. But really what's going on behind the scenes is this, I don't want to say illicit. She's even got her fan like up by his face so that no one maybe passing by below will really get an idea of who he is. Okay? So it's quite interesting. It's a game. I think it's a game being played. It's quite interesting. It's all some kind of psychological headspace game. And I'm not saying that it's a game in which someone is being deliberately cruel or mean. I just think that the person just doesn't know what the hell they want. They know what they want, but they will not admit that that's what they want. They just won't do it for whatever reason. I don't know. So that's like being on a diet and saying, I'm going to not touch I don't know, cakes for the next, 3 months. Okay, I'm going to renounce that. But then you get up in the middle of the night and you sneak a bite of something that you know you shouldn't have. You do so guiltily. It tastes so good. You can't deny how delicious it is. You know that you want it. But then if anybody were to know that you didn't keep your word on it, it's going to make you feel like a real heel. So let's see what that card is. It is the Chariot, the Move card, the number 7. And again, this is about some kind of internal conflict about what to do. Let me read you the meaning of the, I can't find anything. It's been a long week. The Chariot card. Act, direct, master, discipline, focus, and effort. Now is the time to be proactive regarding matters of the heart. If you're looking for a relationship, take the initiative to find one. Take advantage of the many ways to meet your soulmate. This card is about action, action, action. If your current relationship is not moving in the direction you wish, do whatever is required to shift the direction. You're the master of your own destiny, and that includes your relationships. Don't wait for others to make the first move or set the tone of the relationship. Take charge. Take charge. Creating and sustaining a good relationship, however, requires discipline. It's not enough to be in a relationship. You must invest in it as well. And that's kind of the feeling. The person's like, I want that, but I don't want to have to invest anything into it. And that's kind of the feeling that they already know what it is, but they don't want to invest in it. Be present and be present in and focus on the relationship. Give every relationship the opportunity and time that it needs and deserves to flourish and grow. Now is the time to focus on your needs and the needs of your partner. Make the effort to maintain healthy boundaries for yourself and to respect the boundaries of others. And that could be why that conflicting that we're seeing in between the Lovers and the Two of Cups, kind of with the Hermit kind of coming in. While rewarding relationships require effort, there must be a balanced effort from both partners. Perhaps it is time to examine your relationships. Are both partners putting forth equal effort to make the relationship work? Are you comfortable with the amount of effort your relationships require of you? If any relationship feels draining or it's not worth the effort, then perhaps it's time to move on. And the affirmation of the card is, I take charge of my relationships. So I'm not exactly sure if the person just feels that it's not worth the effort, if it feels draining. But if that's something that is coming from them based upon their past experiences, okay, or if this is a fear that they have, I don't know. So I hope that message helped. And until next time, namaste. Travelers, I just realized once I close that reading down that I'm probably going to be getting a lot of emails from you guys going, I'm confused. I don't understand what that reading was about. It ended with the Move card. And if we're talking about someone who either because of past experiences doesn't trust whatever it is going on with them, whether you find yourself in a situation where you no longer feel invested in it, or whether you have fear of what the outcome will be if you take it, really is all irrelevant. And this is how sometimes the cards can work past, present, and future altogether. The Move card simply says that no matter which place on the timeline you find yourself, you have to move in order to get that Two of Cups. You're going to have to do something. So you're either going to have to let the past go and not be afraid of the future, or figure out how to fix what's going on with you at the present. And so that's why I wanted to bring that back, because I know I just saw a whole bunch of emails coming in going, I don't understand. I'm confused. I'm confused. I'm confused. But again, in order for you to know anything about your particular situation or where you find yourself on the timeline requires a personal reading. Okay, so that's it. All right, namaste.